Hi, I'm Starborn. Remember, to be a star, you have to shine your own light, follow your own path, and not be afraid of the darkness, because that's when stars shine brightest. If you've been looking at our website, starborninstitute.org, you would already know that the title is all about urgency, because the title of tonight's show is Surging Forward. Why would you feel like surging forward this next week? Or why would you be in a big hurry? Well, it's because there are 4 planets in the dynamic, action-oriented fire signs, and they are all beautifully trining each other. So I do think people are going to be in a real hurry this next week. And even though there are 3 retrograde planets, Uranus is retrograde in Aries, Neptune is retrograde in Pisces, and Mercury is retrograde, but it has now moved back into Libra, where it is going backwards. And so with those 3 retrograde planets, this is a time when you really ought to slow down a little bit and sort of double check all your facts in order to make sure that you don't skip steps or you don't make mistakes. But I don't think too many people are going to pay attention to that this week, because the dynamic planets in the fire signs really do indicate that people can be in a big hurry. And that is because the moon and Jupiter today are in Leo, and that is an energetic sign lit by the sun. And Leo rules gambling, it rules children and sports and love affairs and the entertainment business. And so all of these things can be highlighted right now in a very beneficial way. After all, the moon rules our feelings, and Jupiter is simply a planet of really good luck. Those 2 planets are trining Uranus in Aries. Uranus is one of the retrograde planets, but it is a planet of sudden change. And that is why anytime in the next week, we could be astounded in a rather surprising way by things that change, particularly by people that want to make new beginnings or who may want to break away, since Uranus also rules freedom and it rules rebellion. So there could be change in the air for sure. And then those 3 planets are trining Mars in Sagittarius. Mars is a dynamic planet as well, and it is not a loving planet. It rules destruction, it rules jealousy and greed and envy and hate, and it certainly does rule passion. And it is in the sign that rules the higher mind and our beliefs, and it rules religious feelings and our philosophical values as well. And it rules foreign countries, international dealings, long distance travel, and it also rules the courts, particularly the courts that deal in large issues that could affect a lot of people throughout the world. And so we see that Mars is what we call a malefic planet. It can get you in trouble because it can make you move a little bit too quickly and trip you up. And it is trining Uranus, which is another malefic planet, remember, because it rules rebellion and it can rule sudden change. And so those 2 malefic planets are being trined beautifully by the moon and Jupiter in Leo. And what that really means is that you could be wanting to consolidate your gains right now. You could be taking stock of how far you've come this year, and you could be thinking about your goals and what your strengths are, and you may be deciding to sort of take something to the next level. Or you could be saying to yourself, over the top, and that could be your battle cry, because maybe now you're deciding to really surge forward on something because you've already done a lot, you've already put a lot of effort into something. So that's great. But this is actually a time, since that Mars is so well fortified right now, that evil could get a lucky break. And we need to really be conscious of the fact that our safety can be threatened now. And that is because as people surge forward, they may not all have nice goals in mind. They could be thinking of being fiercely competitive. That certainly is what Mars rules. And if there's a lot of fierce competition and a little greed and hate behind it, then other people could be in trouble because of the strength of the grand trine in fire signs. And that is why I think evil can get a lucky break. And that is why we have to be extra careful and guard ourselves and our loved ones and our own safety. as well, because there are wonderful planets in Libra right now. Venus, the ruler of the sign, is there, the Sun is there, and remember, Mercury, which is retrograde, has come back into Libra as well. In fact, all three of those planets are closely and tightly conjuncting each other. Libra rules peace, and it rules compromise, and it rules give and take, and it rules the law and contracts as well. Those three planets, although they're very powerful within the sign of Libra, they are not being fortified by planets in any other air signs. So the problem is no one is listening to anybody who is making a plea for peace right now. It doesn't mean they're going to stop trying to be peaceful, but it does mean no one's listening at this time, as the energy in the heavens is towards surging forward instead. And so you have to be very, very careful this week. Another reason why you need to be extremely careful is because you may not know who to trust. And the reason why is that Mars in Sagittarius is being squared harshly by Neptune in Pisces. Pisces rules hidden enemies, and it rules the things that we kid ourselves about or that we're in denial about, such as alcoholism, drug addiction, or sexual promiscuity, or anything else that we can be afraid of or doubtful of, and that we don't want to discuss with anybody else. So Pisces also rules deception. And since that planet, Neptune, which is the ruler of Pisces and is very strong, is squaring Mars in Sagittarius, it simply means that you may not know who to trust right now, because there can be people that are lying, or there can be people that are sort of leading you on right now, or playing two sides against the middle, and that's why you don't know what or who to believe. And that can mean that as people are surging forward, thinking that they are basing their actions upon the truth, they could be horribly misled, as evil gets a lucky break this week. And that is why, with 3 retrograde planets, it really is a better idea to slow down and check everything twice right now, particularly where financial matters are concerned, because Saturn is in Scorpio. It's trining that Neptune in Pisces. But since Saturn is a very slow-moving planet and it is in a financial sign, it means that I think somebody is playing a waiting game as far as money goes, and they are not willing to part with it because they may not be too sure of who is going to keep a promise right now. And that is why there's a lot of distrust around. And even if people are surging forward, it doesn't mean that everybody is on the up and up. And that is why you have to be really careful. All right, what does it mean to all 12 of the sun signs? Well, Aries, I think you could be surging forward, and you ought to, Aries. For heaven's sakes, there are 4 planets in the fire signs. Jupiter and the moon are trining your sun. That means that someone who's rather glamorous and rather popular and has good leadership ability can be attracted to you, or can really help you out, maybe make you feel pretty lucky right now. And also, Mars in Sagittarius is trining your sun sign where you have Uranus. It simply means that someone can want the best for you, and then someone else can want to use you for their own ends. What should you do, Aries? Well, I think that you should sort of keep your eye on your future. Uranus is in your sign and it rules the future. So you should be surging forward. But if I were you, Aries, I would move on. I would simply go for something that is new, because your sign is the sign of the pioneer, and you are very lucky at making new starts. But if you stay where you are, I think you're going to end up being miserable, and that time will pass you by, and that actually you could threaten your future by staying where you are. And the reason why is those 3 planets in Libra, the Sun, Venus, and Mercury, are all opposing your sun sign. And so even though there is a grand trine in fire signs, there is the possibility that you can lose a very nice partner right now, or you can lose a contract, or be involved in some sort of legal a challenge, and you could lose it. And that is a good reason to move on. And so Pluto in Capricorn is also squaring your sun, which means that management or policies in a government agency or a corporation are not going to favor you, Aries. That is because Pluto is squaring your sun sign. It will stay squaring your sun sign for years. And that is why the grass is greener, Aries. And you should go and find that out right now, because a new start would be very successful. Believe me, it would be. So I hope you try it. Okay, what does it mean to a Taurus? Well, Taurus, this is simply a time when you can feel a little bit extravagant, and the reason why is because that moon and Jupiter in Leo are squaring your sun, and when Jupiter squares somebody's sun sign, it makes them rather optimistic and extravagant because Jupiter is a good luck planet. So you might have your eye on somebody pretty good looking, or you could simply want to spend more money on sports or horse racing or partying right now. So that could sort of put you in a good mood, but you might overspend a little bit, Taurus, so you need to be careful about that as well, because Saturn is still in Scorpio opposing your sun sign, which means that some lingering debts or bills or the possibility of higher credit costs or higher taxes is on your horizon, and you will have to sort of put a little money away in order to pay extra expenses. If you do that, you don't have anything to worry about, because when those extra expenses get to you, you would have some way to cover them, which would be great. Otherwise, Pluto in Capricorn is trining your sun, and that simply means that I think you can sort of get a green light out, or if policies change concerning your retirement or the funds that you have in a pension plan, the policies could change in your favor, Taurus, and that would be wonderful. If there is a Taurus who is close to retirement, they really ought to do it. And the reason why is that then you could get your hands on your own money that you have worked very hard for, and it probably would be safer in your hands, since there are a lot of things that are going to be surging forward right now, including things like assets. And there is the possibility that there could be a delay in the value of assets, and they could shrink, and that's why your money would be safer in your own hands, Taurus. Okay, what does it mean to a Gemini? Well, Gemini, it is wonderful that there are 3 great planets in Libra, and they're all trining your sun. So Venus, the ruler of the sign, is conjuncting the sun there, and also Mercury, which is your ruler. And since they're all in Libra trining your sun, it simply means that you could get some delayed good news, Gemini. And it could be good news about a legal matter, or some sort of compromise that works out in your favor, or a contract offer that perhaps you hadn't known about but other people had. And as soon as you do get that news, I think it would be very positive for you. And that if you have a contract offer, or if somebody very nice is coming into your life, it could make you very happy, Gemini. So I hope that you're really open to change, which is what your sign rules, because it could greatly influence your future in a happy, nice way, and in a rather generous way, since Venus is also trining your sun. And that is good, because the other side of the situation right now is that Neptune in Pisces is squaring your sun sign, and Mars in Sagittarius is opposing your sun sign, which means you don't know who to trust, or you should double check everything twice or 3 times, because somebody could be playing 2 sides against the middle, or not telling you the whole truth about something and urging you to overstep your boundaries, and perhaps you'd end up getting in trouble, or you'd be risking your own safety. And that is why you need to stick around really nice people right now, and try to make sure that whatever you sign is verified by facts or records. Don't just sign something blindly right now, and that is because somebody could try to swindle you, and you wouldn't want that, would you? Okay, what does it mean to a Cancer? Well, Cancer, this is a time when I think that you can sort of be up against it, and the reason why is that you have a passive nature. You really don't like to surge ahead too quickly on anything. The way that you like to work is to sort of do a little bit at a time until a whole goal is reached, or you like to plan things out so that you can take one step at a time until the whole plan is complete. But this is a time when there is an accent on the fire signs, and when evil can get a lucky break right now. And so I think that you can be vulnerable to things that happen too quickly, or to people that are in a big rush and they could sort of want to mow you down, Cancer. And so if I were you, I would really step back and don't trust a lot of people right now, because even if they're in a hurry, and even if they look wildly successful, or even if they are sure of taking a gamble on a sure thing so that, you know, they can guarantee something, I wouldn't believe everything. You need to step back and wait and see what happens when the dust settles. And it isn't doing that right now. The planets in Libra are squaring your sun, Uranus in Aries is squaring your sun, and Pluto in Capricorn is opposing your sun. The 5 planets in cardinal signs are all very harshly aspecting your sun sign, and so that means there is the possibility you could get left out of something right now, or that a contract could be canceled, or that policies could change. But that is the least of your worries, believe it or not, Cancer, because the other choice would be that you get swept up in some big surge that, you know, might end up being lethal instead. And that is why it is much safer for you to concentrate just on keeping things sort of close right now. You don't need to confide in a lot of people, and just sort of watch your step wherever you go. If you get through this week with nothing happening, that would be a good sign. But that, I don't think you're going to get that lucky. I think you are going to have to adjust to sudden change this week. Okay, what does it mean to a Leo? Well, Leo, the moon and Jupiter are in your sun sign. Lucky you, Leo. You could have wonderful feelings. You could be very optimistic. You could certainly want to go to a party and have fun and be very attracted to people that are rather glamorous right now, particularly a woman, which would be great. You have 2 malefic planets, though, that are trining your sun, Mars in Sagittarius and Uranus in Aries. But because they're malefic planets, even though they're in a forceful grand trine to your sun sign, I would urge you, Leo, to look before you leap, because somebody could come along and be very deceptive and want you to do something for their own ends, not for your good at all. So they could have their own hidden agenda, and you need to check things out before you agree to get pushed along, Leo. Yours is a fixed sign. Fixed signs don't like to get pushed, but there could be somebody who insists on you doing something. And if I were you, I'd slow down a little bit on that, Leo, because they may not have anything good in mind for you, except to just wear you out, work you too hard, and not pay you enough. And Uranus in Aries is trining your sun, so you have to be open to sudden surprise at any time right now. And just remember, this is a time when evil could get a lucky break. And one way they could do it is if you help somebody that is untrustworthy or who is malicious or evil in any way. It could bring destruction upon you, and that is why you need to slow down, Leo, even though you're very optimistic right now. Just be careful at the same time. Okay, what does it mean to a Virgo? Well, Virgo, I don't think that you are going to be caught up in the hubbub right now. I don't think you have a nature that wants to surge forward without carefully checking everything, because your sign does rule details and facts. And while Mars in Sagittarius is squaring your sun and Neptune in Pisces is opposing your sun, it simply means that you certainly can't trust what people are telling you right now, because somebody could be telling you what they think you want to hear rather than the whole truth, so they could be sort of trying to mislead you. And also someone else could be wanting to push you into being angry or trying to be judgmental right now, and you don't really want to be like that either, Virgo. You're lucky that you have wonderful planets around your sun sign. There isn't anything in your sun sign, but you have the moon and Jupiter right behind your sun sign in Leo, and you have Venus, the sun, and Mercury in Libra right ahead of your sun sign. So if you don't know what to do right now and you don't want to get pushed around, fall back on the people that you already know have always been good to you and stick with them, Virgo. And try not to make a forward move, but simply go along sort of with the people that you really do trust, not with the ones that are trying to push you into anything right now. Don't let that happen. Okay, what does it mean to a Libra? Well, Libra, remember I said no one is willing to listen to pleas for peace or ideas that involve a compromise or some sort of diplomacy. People are in too big of a rush for that. Give and take, they don't want to do that. I think they just want to take right now. And so, Libra, even though nobody can be listening to you right now, you have wonderful planets in your sun sign, Venus, the Sun, and Mercury. And so that simply means, since Mercury is retrograde, that there can be some good news that has been omitted that you should have found out before. And you may find out about it now. It could involve a contract offer. It certainly could involve a legal settlement or a legal matter that already has been decided in your favor, but nobody told you yet. So that could be good news as well. At any rate, you are not only very popular, but you do have a wonderful way of making people relax and feel good. And that is a gift, Libra. So keep doing that. And the people that aren't listening to you are in a big hurry anyway. Well, just let them whiz by you, Libra, because sooner or later they're going to have to slow down. And as long as you are staying in a calm, secure spot, you will be very well liked by everybody. And that should be enough to give you peace right now. And that should make you happy. So you don't have to go forward at 100 miles an hour. You just need to do your best right where you are. Okay, what does it mean to a Scorpio? Well, Scorpio, this is simply a time when the emphasis is on fire signs, and yet there is a trine in water signs. Saturn in your sign is trining Neptune in Pisces. But that Neptune in Pisces is susceptible to some kind of subterfuge or lying or playing two sides against the middle because Mars is squaring it. However, you are a person that would be able to see who is lying or to see who the phonies are right now, because Saturn in your sun sign does trine that Neptune instead. That is a good aspect. So it can be that you are not eager to surge forward on anything, because there can be you can be unsure about the promises that people have made, and you can also be a little unsure about the value of assets or investments right now. And that is wise of you to be hesitant, because I think that assets are shrinking, that there can be delays in payment, and that economies, as they face the winter, are going to go through heavy expenses this winter that are somewhat unforeseen, and that means there won't be enough money around. So if you are thinking of delaying a dream right now or not falling for somebody's subterfuge, that would be a good idea, Scorpio. Just play it safe right now, and if you miss a good offer right now, that's all right. If it's really good, it'll come back. Okay, what does it mean to a Sagittarius? Well, Sagittarius, you are the person that can really want to surge forward right now. And so the only question is, are you doing it for good or evil, Sagittarius? If you have been deceptive or misleading anybody, it is too late. You could get caught in a little white lie, or in anything where you have been sort of playing two sides against the middle. You could get really exposed for that right now, Sagittarius, and perhaps suffer. But if you haven't been doing that, if you've just been very devoted to your own goals right now, and you want to consolidate your gains and go forward on something that is new, you could have a lot of luck with that, and you could have the help of somebody who is a good leader and is willing to back you. So I wish you the best of luck if you're on the up and up. Otherwise, I have a feeling that you're going to have to pay for a little subterfuge right now, as you might get caught in something, Sagittarius. So, you know, you might have to pay the piper right now. Okay, what does it mean to a Capricorn? Well, Capricorn, I don't think you know which way to turn right now, and so don't. And the reason why is that there is a lot going on around you. People could want to push you, or else they could want to bypass you and simply skip steps right now. Well, that's not the way you work. You like to take one step at a time and make sure that everything is done correctly according to policy or protocol. But other people don't care about that at all right now. And that is why I think that you can be befuddled by people who are going in different directions, and some of them are not people you can trust at all. What should you do, Capricorn? I think you should do nothing. Absolutely nothing, because you're not sure how something is going to end up. You can be very sure of your own goals, though, and so those are what you should concentrate on. Trust yourself, Capricorn, and this is possibly not a time when you should trust anybody else. So try to keep as low a profile as you can, and just let all those other people go by you, Capricorn. You may not need them anyway. Okay, what does it mean to an Aquarian? Well, Aquarius, it's wonderful that the 3 planets in Libra are trining your sun sign, because it means that you can benefit from a generous legal settlement or a generous contract, or you could have very loving people headed your way. And they can want peace, they can be willing to compromise, they can believe in give and take. So you could get something on some pretty good terms right now, Aquarius. And if I were you, I would just say yes. Let people know what you want. But you know, you can work out some sort of agreement, which would be wonderful. At the same time, remember that the moon and Jupiter in Leo are opposing your sun sign, which means that somebody very nice could be leaving you at any time, particularly now since there's a grand trine in fire signs. So you'll just have to get used to a possible loss as somebody else, very nice, moves on. But at the same time, you can move forward in your future, and that's what you should concentrate on, because it could be very nice for you right now. And certainly you could have a very nice person get a little closer to you, which would be great for you and them. Okay, what does it mean to a Pisces? Well, Pisces, this is simply a time when you need to be really careful, because I don't think you're going to know who to trust. And that is because that dynamic Mars, which can represent evil that can get a lucky break right now, is squaring your sun sign where you have Neptune. You need to be very careful and stick only with people that you have known for a long time and that you trust. Old friends could be the best friends right now, Pisces, but not new ones, because you do not know where they're coming from, and they could be deceiving you. And that is why this is a time when you need to just sort of sit back and let the world go by, Pisces, because the world is in a big hurry right now, or there's a lot of pressure, or there can be sudden change or surprising conditions that we all have to adjust to in one way or another. And I think the best thing for you to do is sort of sit back and retire and stay out of everything right now, Pisces. That way you'll be there to help others when they really need it, and that could be in the future. Remember, you have a very charitable side. Maybe that's what the world's going to need pretty soon, so save yourself for that. All right, thanks so much for tuning in, and remember, you can see the show anytime you want by subscribing to it on our website, starborninstitute.org. Bye.